So today we're covering surface area of prisms and cylinders. So just a reminder, these are cylinders, correct? Circles on bottom, circle on top, rectangle in between. And the prisms that you'll mostly be working with today, you'll be working with some cubes. You'll be working with this tent shape. Remember, that's a triangular prism. If it's a tent, it's a triangular prism. Okay? So those are the shapes you're going to see on your IXL today as well as on your test. Okay? So the first thing we need to talk about is what is surface area? So surface area is when you take a three-dimensional figure such as this and you add together the area of all your sides. Okay? This is useful if you become like a cardboard engineer. What they do is they take boxes and they figure out the smallest area possible to cover the whatever item they're selling. Okay? If you're wrapping Christmas presents, you want to get really detailed. Okay? Surface area is good. All right? So surface area is the area of all the surfaces added up. Now there is a formula that I used to teach for surface area, but when I switched over to that, kids were getting surface area wrong a lot, and so I stopped using the formula. Okay, so we're just going to use the old school thought of how many of each side do I have, what are the dimensions of the side, so what's the area of it. Okay, so the surface area is the area of all the sides added up. Okay, so that's the surface area. It's the area of all the sides added up. So we're going to start with the surface area of, this is a rectangular prism here. Okay. So let's start with the side that is over here furthest to the right. Yes, Logan. Okay, that's the height of it. Okay, Logan, just wait. I haven't asked a question yet. All right, so we're going to start with this side here. How many of this side of this dimension do I have? I have one here. Don't I have one on this side too? Okay, so both sides, the left-hand side and the right-hand side, have the dimension 4 by 5. So we have a rectangle that's 4 by 5, which would be this side here and this side over here. So what's the area of one of those sides? 20. The area of one of those sides would be 4 times 5, which is 20. But then I have two of them, correct? I have one on the left and one on the right. So what's the total area of the left and right side? 40. Good. Okay. Next, let's move to the top and the bottom. So here's my bottom side. Okay. And then my top is here. What are the dimensions of the top and the bottom? They are 10 by 4. Okay. So that's 4 times 10 for the area, which is 40. But how many of those do I have? If I have a top and I have a bottom. How many do I have? I have 2 of those. Okay. So that's 80 because the left and the or the front and the back are not 10 by 4. The front and the back are 10 by 5. So let's do the front and back now. So here's my front. Highlighted it in green. Okay. The back, if I highlighted that, you wouldn't really see it. Okay. So the dimensions of your front and your back are 10 by 5. So they are 10 by 5. 5 times 10 is 50. And there's 2 of those, which means that the front and the back is 100. Okay. The bottom and the top had a total of 80. The left and the right had a total of 40. After you find the area of those sides, you're going to add up those numbers. 40 plus 80 plus 100 is 220. So it'd be 220 units squared is going to be the surface area of this prism. Any questions on that? Okay. So next, we have a triangular prism. So just a reminder, a triangular prism, this thing kind of looks like a tent. Okay, so it kind of looks like this. So when we're finding this one, let's start with this triangle that's in the front. I have a triangle that's 8 by 10. A triangle that's 8 by 10. The most common thing that people forget about a triangle is that it's 1/2 base times height. It's 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 base times height means what's the area of one of them? 40, but how many of them do we have? 2. So that's a total surface area of 80. Okay, let's go to the bottom. The bottom is a rectangle, correct? The bottom is a rectangle that is 10 by 12. The surface area of a rectangle is base times height. So it'd be 10 times 12, which is 120. Next, let's move on to the top part on the right-hand side. Okay, so the base of that rectangle is 12. What's the height of that rectangle? It says it's what? It says it's 8, right? 8 times 12 then would be the area of that one, which is 96. Now we have one last rectangle. I'm going to highlight it in pink here. Okay, on this side. What are the dimensions of this rectangle that I highlighted in pink? The height of it is 8. The base is 12. So actually it has the same dimensions as this one we just did in blue, right? So 8 times 12 was 96. So now we have all our sides. We have our two triangles. We have our bottom rectangle. We have our rectangle that would be on the right. And we have our rectangle that would be on the left. What do we do with those 4 numbers? We would add them all up using a calculator. Okay, so let's see, that's 200 plus, let's see, that'd be 192. So 392 should be your surface area of all of the sides added up. Okay? Please remember, the most common mistake is forgetting that a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay? So you might want to star that for that problem. Last three-dimensional shape is a cylinder. Okay, so if I show you a cylinder, what shape is the base of a cylinder? It's a circle. Okay, so a cylinder has a circle for its base, and so you would do pi r squared. Remember, that formula is on our formula sheet. Okay, how many circles does a cylinder have? Has how many? It has 2, right? It has a top and a bottom, so it has 2 circles. So then the next thing that we need to talk about is the other part of our cylinder, which is this. You guys see how that middle part turns into a rectangle? Now we can see that the height of it would be the height here, right? But the base part of my rectangle would actually be, do you guys see how that's the distance around the circle? Okay, so the base of it would be the distance around the circle. Okay, so if we have this rectangle in the middle, this side is 2 pi r. That's the distance around a circle. That's your circumference. And then this would be the height. So the area of this rectangle is going to be 2 pi r times whatever the height of your cylinder is. Okay, so let's put this all together in one picture. I have 2 circles, and I have a rectangle in the middle. The area of this circle is pi r squared. The area of this circle is pi r squared. And the area of the shape in the middle is 2 pi r times h. And if you add those 3 up, then you'll have the total surface area of your cylinder. Does it help to see it all together like that? Kind of? Okay. So let's do this on this cylinder below. I'm going to make it smaller so we can see the picture in that at the same time. So this says this is 12. So what's my radius then? My radius would be 6. So my radius is 6. So I'm going to start with my top circle. I have pi times 6 squared. And that's also going to be the size of my bottom circle, pi times 6 squared. Then I have this rectangle that's in the middle, which is going to be 2 pi times 6, and then my height of my cylinder is 12. On your IXL today, they want you to use 3.14 for pi. So you would do 3.14, 6 squared is 36. 3.14, again 6 squared is 36. And then this would be 2 times 3.14 times 6 times 12. You'd get the area of each of those separately. So this is 113.04. This would also be 113.04. This is 452.16, and you'd add all 3 of those up to get 678.24. So the surface area of this cylinder would be 678.24 units squared. Okay? And that's what you're working on today. Your IXL is to what? 60. Okay? Those of you who normally get a reduced, I want you to make sure you get at least 1 question of each type. Okay? So I don't want you to go to just 30 if you've gotten 2 rectangular prisms and a triangular prism but didn't see the cylinder. Make sure you get 1 question of each type, okay, before you stop those of you who get simplified IXLs.